Uh, Start. Okay. Oh, very, very well. Restart also. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. What? Nothing. Basically, literally nothing. Uh, I think it has been too much time since the last time I talked or something like that. I had having a hard time articulating myself, as in properly speaking. So fuck. Anyways. Uh, uh, anyways, completely sideways, I guess. What? Thank you, Arke. You didn't go to sleep. I thought you went to sleep, Arke. What? Good, good, good morning. Um, yeah, thank you. I shouldn't have this. You, thank you. Thank you, Arke. Sorry. Uh, this is. Understandable, understandable. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't understand how does that work. You took coffee before streaming or something like that to have energy, or why? But yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is incredible. That is funny, funny stuff. But yeah, uh, I at the time, and I think it is funny enough. I don't want to turn them all the emotes off. It is funny to see that out of nowhere, like 20%, 30% of every single message gets transformed because they use any of those words. So it's funny. But yeah, emotes, I guess. Emotes and chat. Whatever. We are just starting, Arya. Calm down. We are just starting. We are waiting. I will play the guitar later on, but yeah, we are just beginning. Uh, we are literally just beginning. Ah, okay, okay. Take it easy. No, no, no. Don't, have a good night. If you can really sleep. If not, I guess I don't know. I don't think you need any recommendation. You probably already know how to handle that, but use the energy, do something. Go. Well, no, it is incredibly late. Don't go for a walk. Run around your house. I don't know, something. Use the energy, my brother. But yeah, eh, good luck to you. Also. So that is that's everything. Wow. To go outside. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Understandable. I mean, I don't. You didn't even provide that much context, but without the context, it was already a comprehensively bad experience. So I don't know. I think I think it was kind of bad, yeah. But I mean, yeah, situations are different. Something like that will probably happen here, and I will say like, wow, surprising, and keep keep living as if nothing happened out there. It is kind of wild, yeah, but I don't know. I will say don't worry that much. I hope, as long as it wasn't focused or something like that, um, As long as it wasn't like that, I guess it's fine. But I don't think you are anybody who is being what's what's the term? Dogs? No. Who's yeah, I already said who's being focused. Yeah, yeah, but basically that. I guess it shouldn't be that really somebody will be searching for a little guy named Archiabasil, slash real name, you know? So it doesn't make sense to believe that you anybody has any intention to do any harm to you. I guess I would once again repeat, don't worry about I I mean it is still is kind of bad. After all, it certainly is shocking to see that the place in which you grew up ended up turning out to be like that. Sadly enough, I I don't know, kind of crazy, yeah, but that's life, I guess. That is the experience of going out and such. That, I don't know, man. I am probably not the best one to talk about anything of the sort. Around here, like, you get accustomed to hearing gunshots or whatever. It is like, ah, yeah, it is completely normal. It is the most normal thing. So I really don't speak for somebody who has experienced complete safety. We are not in a completely safe country here. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I will do that. I will. I will exactly do that. You're so right, sis. I will. I can't make how I am, but I will do it. Should I get a gun? No, I shouldn't. But no, yeah, that is kind of a bad idea. That is kind of a horribly bad idea. Yeah. Anyways, no more gun talk, please. No, sorry, sorry. I don't mean that. Well, we have still like 30 seconds, so yeah, go to sleep, Arca. Thank you. Not in a disrespectful manner, you know. Simply like do what you need to do, and don't stay up just because I guess. Oh, okay, finally, here we are done. So, hello, good morning. We are finally starting, and if he already left, he will never learn. But there we have it. Okay, nice. Music. For a second, I got mixed my microphone and the guitar riff, and I was worried that out of nowhere my microphone wasn't working. I am sleepy. Yeah, my bad. I guess. Anyways, good morning. As I said before, as always, very nice to be here. Um, it has been, and this time isn't even a joke. It has been quite a long time since the last occasion in which I appeared. I don't even know what I did last time. That's kind of funny. I think it was I was discussing stuff and such, and I think it was last Saturday I streamed or something like that. And I said that I was going to be back on Sunday. I didn't. Wow, what a surprise! Me failing. Anyways, as I was saying, here we are now. That's the important part of this. After some time, we have returned, and after all of that time, we can continue with whatever. I guess today I don't really think it will be anything out of the norm. I simply wanted to see if I can stream. I mean, yeah, a lot of stuff happened. I wanted to announce it more properly before. I didn't. So I guess I will have to announce it here and later on everywhere else that I have finally properly started going to university yet again. So I I certainly lack the time to continue with almost anything else in the time zones outside of this one. Luckily enough, I have seen so far that it works wonderfully with me. I have the energy that I need to be here today if I properly take a nap before. So, in that sense, I am, yeah, I am content, I can say. And that is why today it does feel quite nice to be back, let's say. It simply is a precious opportunity that I can. I don't know. I was going to say exploit at the very same time. Exploit always feels like a. Maybe, yeah, maybe it is simply too much overthinking from my side. It is a nice opportunity that one can exploit, let's say. And it feels good to have the possibility to do something like this, because certainly it is something that I personally enjoy. So I can say I am content with that already. So yeah, um, basically that. I I hope I didn't miss anything really. I simply had to say that, and yeah, nothing else. I guess that besides, I had been, as always, working on other stuff. I have finally finished the first month of shorts in this case, so in that sense, I am also quite happy. I I need to keep working on the second month and such, so it doesn't mean like I have fulfilled my show and I don't have anything else to do with that. Simply, it's about, yeah, I finished portion of what I needed to do, but it still needs to continue, so that is something else also. But I don't know, I guess I have been thinking a lot, and the problem is, as always, after such a long time, it ends up being quite complex to find out what I truly wish to talk about. I guess, after all, yeah, I guess it is kind of a common experience. Nobody truly expects um, to be fully focused on anything after so much time, and this is certainly the very same case for me. I don't really know what is it that I last mentioned and what not even, and I don't even know. Sometimes I I guess that is okay. I can start with that because certainly that has been very present on my mind lately, and that is it becomes kind of worrisome because I did mention that before. There is some degree of forgetfulness that exists within, at the very least, myself, but I'm pretty sure it is an incredibly common thing on everybody, and it is quite worrisome because certainly I don't even retain on my mind, let's say, from one day to the other, I do retain, I guess, like 80% of the day, of the last day I lived. But overall, I might just remember when my brain starts to accommodate memories and whatever. I only remember around 2 or 3% of what truly happens every single day. And it is kind of worrisome because certainly I don't think only 2, 3%, 5, 10% of the day is important. It there is something that I always try to talk about, or if I don't mention it here, I try at the very least to keep in my mind, and that is the idea of you should live every single day as if it was the most meaningful one, because certainly there is a capacity of making every single day be important. And it does happen to me at the very least that I find out I certainly am not even close to remembering that much out of every important day out of nowhere. It is like I do know, on the other hand, certainly that if you live your life too much into repetition and you don't add things to spice it up, as they will say, and whatever, it doesn't make it more memorable, and you obviously end up having problems as a natural consequence of, yeah, of not making it a more entertaining environment, let's say. But I don't think just with that I can be happy to any degree, or just with those beginnings I can say that I am content. I certainly don't think about it in a way in which I see myself as somebody who has no problems in that side. It does become quite problematic to experience that out of nowhere. The life that you are living so much, and yeah, the time itself that you're spending doing things seems to be for yourself later on so utterly simple that it has no value to be remembered. And I mean, the worst part obviously is the side of not only this is a beginning of something, this is like a like a symptom, let's say, because if you have a good life, you should be capable of remembering what is memorable inside of it, certainly, as as it implies the very same knowledge of you forget about a lot of things and whatnot. I guess it simply happens that some people have it harder than others to fully find what is entertaining or what is truly a memorable experience or whatever. And you don't even wish to think about stuff in that degree, in that realm. I don't I don't believe it is necessary for me to, let's say, disregard the life that I certainly live, more so, just because I want to find the potential to make it more memorable. But it certainly happens that if it isn't capable of being um, memorable, it is because it isn't memorable. Like it isn't in any degree a hard message, a complex idea. If you can't remember what happens throughout your days, unless you obviously know that you have a huge problem with your memory, the biggest, most obvious reason is always it is because it lacks any capacity of being interesting. You can't expect to remember every single day that you woke up, went to work, and went back to sleep in a completely automated fashion, and truly say to yourself, wow, I hope tomorrow I wake up and I remember exactly what I did yesterday. And not only tomorrow, but also 1 year from now, I will have the capacity to remember what I did. Certainly it doesn't happen like that. It is kind of delusional to expect out of nowhere that things will work that way, let's say, but I don't know. It simply is part of existing that you get to experience and you get to learn that there are some changes to make. I guess I don't know. I mean, certainly one of the few things I can argue. On the other hand, is memorable. I don't know if every single time, if the complete act of it is doing any kind of activity that ends up making you spend some type of energy or even more, some degree of, yeah, not just energy, it makes you create some degree or experience some degree of enjoyment because physical activity, as in the days I did any kind of physical activity, had been the most memorable ones from my, yeah, very recently, I will say. And overall, even in those periods, the most memorable thing itself is the physical activity, I guess. And I don't know. I guess it feels good to have the capacity to say there are always some things that you can do and there are always some stuff that you can work on that feels good, but it ends up being always weird because there is always mostly that initial worry of how is it that you can say to, in any degree, I guess, that you're having it good or that you're enjoying life if you are not even having the pleasure, the capacity to find, yeah, what can keep you motivated and what not. And in that very same sense, how much of a motivation problem it ends up being that you don't even have in your reach, let's say, those things that can show you that your days are meaningful. Because, yeah, I will say, I don't think anybody truly puts that much their mind into it. But if you are pursuing to have a meaningful life because you have noticed that it was before something devoid of meaning, I guess it is going to be quite a huge problem if out of nowhere you try to look back and you find out that you don't even remember like half of what your efforts had been spent on, and you might as well have, in the very best of the cases, a vague idea about what happened, but it still doesn't justify all the time that you spent on anything. And you certainly don't even possess those memories anymore to even try to say what happened. So it does feel bad, but I don't know. Maybe not that many people truly have problems with that side of life. I I reckon, or I wish to say at the very least, that I hope nobody is suffering from with their memory as much. I guess, supposedly, based on what I can barely remember, um, the average people don't have that many troubles with their memories and whatever. It is, in this one case, certainly it is more of a me problem, I guess. So, I don't know. Anyways, basically that has been something funny to think about, I guess. Something very interesting, and also enough time, enough of a guitar. Let me please turn off the guitar. Where is? There it is. At Yeah, it was like 10 minutes. What? Anyways, completely. Anyways, I didn't even realize it was that long. Eh, what? Eh, anyways, I guess I don't know. So, anyways, I was I don't really have that much more to say about the other thing. I am I am done with that. Yes, some days too many worries occupy anybody's mind. In this case, certainly mine too. But in average, life is good. I have come to the realization, and with that I can be content already. So I don't I don't really have that much to add in any kind of way. I don't have that many things to say or to point out. I mean, feels it feels awesome to be, yeah. If I had to truly say something after so much time, it does feel quite nice to have the capacity to be capable of truly saying, yeah, being alive is good. At some point, you truly end up even believing the negative side of what is the meaning of being here? Why should I even put myself through the process of being here? And I don't know. It is surprising to find out that it can be something quite meaningful, and it can be, sorry, something quite interesting to do, and more than a worthwhile experience. I guess I don't know. I am not ready to really deal with something like that, but I have been perhaps justifying my innate hatred for everything else and for the efforts that society requires you to make towards being a proper human being, I guess, instead of properly finding reasons and whatnot. Because I am still having some troubles, certainly, on the side of how is it that it seems reasonable to expect anybody to work so much or to have people pay so many bills and whatever else. And on one hand, it does seem reasonable, on the other, it doesn't fully solve any kind of question or any kind of problem. It is simply a logical, a reasonable, yeah, a completely reasonable consequence that if you're living in the modern era, you should be expecting to have bills to pay. After all, it doesn't make sense to believe that you are going to be the exception of paying your bills and paying for what you try to own and whatever else. Certainly, though, I would say, at the very least, in my case, I am happy. I can be sure what we are paying is what we possess. I wouldn't know if I will be arguing with the same intensity, if it makes sense and whatnot. Mm, if you were somebody who, yeah, somebody who was completely alienated from what they are spending so much time on. After all, there are certainly cases like that, but once again, we are so far. I am trying to not stay out of focus. I am not. I am fiercely starting to recognize this is mostly an, yeah, a notion that I have inside of me. I don't think that many people are truly worried to any degree with the stuff that happens around them or whatnot. So I do feel quite, as I was saying, quite content. But I don't know. Sometimes it is always complex to see it in any kind of way besides the most, yeah, the simplest one, I guess. So going back to it, it simply is. Life simply is, and sometimes you need to justify if it is good or if it is bad in order to keep going, I guess. And in this case, I guess it makes sense for me. I can justify doing what I need to with the bills and whatnot, even if it doesn't fully feel good, even if it doesn't seem to be fully reasonable, even if all of those things might be true. I can still say, well, I have to, I have to, I have to deal with that, and I can't avoid that responsibility, and that is the nature of things, and I can accept that. I mean, Not doing so certainly would bring problems, and not only to me. So I can't see it as what it is, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes those tiny things that are imposed on you seem too hard to fully accept without a prior consideration, I guess. But yeah, give me a second. I am incredibly dry on the throat, so give me like 1 second. Okay. No, what? Okay, there it is. Kind of. I guess the biggest problem is really, yeah. The biggest problem will be that I have a dry throat. Nothing else really. So I am just waking up. Therefore, it is expected to have problems with that. But as I was saying, I I guess things happen, and those responsibilities are kind of hard to deal with, even more when they are imposed on you. And sometimes, I mean, I haven't tried. I have an underlying idea behind this one, but it seems kind of wild. The concept of, as a child, you have to accept so many things out of nowhere, and the responsibility of properly getting an explanation for them is kind of huge. Yeah, it's a kind. Is sorry. It's kind of a huge deal with most people, because certainly I can barely justify them for me. I don't think I could believe that my family is going to do the same thing for me, as in for a second person. I can see the responsibility that they have over the things that I need to do by myself, but I don't know if others can see that or can believe in that. I don't think that many people have the capacity of properly justifying what they have to do or what they need to do for others. I mean, I don't know. I can I can morally, from my point of view, say it makes sense to not kill. It makes sense to not harm anyone else. But I am not in a situation in which I might need to do something like that. Therefore, it is incredibly easy for me to say something of that sort. I am not somebody who sees their life constantly threatened by somebody of immense powers and whatnot, and somebody who is utterly capable of overshadowing them with their strength. I don't have to worry about any of those things. It is for me easy to say, yeah, that I I have a good life and I have good things and whatnot. I I don't truly need to worry about any of those things, and I don't truly need to see the bad side of it. I don't need to think about why it wouldn't work because it doesn't apply to me. But for somebody who lives in a different situation, it does become quite hard, and it does become quite impossible even to make it um, justified, I would say. I don't know. I guess that is also kind of the problem, that there are too many instances in which we simply, personally, I accept things, but I guess we simply believe everybody should be like that, as in one certain way, without even considering that those particular experiences shape you so much that it might as well be almost, yeah. at the very least, it is impossible for somebody who is so incredibly harmed by what they experienced to fully accept what is given to them now as the next narrative without even, without even allowing them to process and to do the proper adaptational process itself of I can't fully accept this one thing. I need to understand it better. Can somebody help me with this one ordeal? Can somebody provide me with some more pointers towards where I need to fix my ideas? How is it that I can work on what I am trying to learn? In which ways is it that it makes sense or not? Or it doesn't make sense? How can I be sure of what I am talking about? And why should I be sure what we are all accepting as normal is truly something that should be seen as normal? It is it's kind of weird, I guess. I mean, that is sadly one of the biggest, and I guess I like it because whenever I talk about society and whatnot, I always say one of the biggest problems, as if every single day it had a huge problem. At some point in the future, somebody will, I hope so, compile every single time I said one of the biggest problems because I overused that expression so much, man. It is incredibly funny. If somebody is paying attention to what I am saying, it ends up being quite a dishonest move to make to use, to overuse such an expression because in their normal speeches somebody can keep it down to a reasonable level instead of making it so common and full of so full of lies that everybody seems to truly believe it, so anyways, going back to it, I do believe to a certain degree one of the biggest problems that we have nowadays even is that desire to shut up those who are willing to ask questions and that interest even in making the act itself of wanting to know better what you are dealing with something bad and making that one thing look bad as if it was somehow logical, reasonable to simply exist on the world. And if you want to know better about something, you should have to guess your way out of those questions that you made yourself. Because you shouldn't even be asking anything to anybody else. That is wonderful. Even I mean we live in a world in which we talk so much about society and we talk so much about living in communities and whatnot that it seems surprising on the other hand to find out that we are shunning so much people because they have an interest on understanding whatever is it that we are talking about better. And it seems, I guess to a certain degree, if you live on the other side, it can be quite demoralizing, as it is with everything, no? Um, Also, good evening. I think it is Savannah. Good day. Welcome, basically. I hope you're doing well. Here we are, simply talking. I didn't truly wish to do anything else today, so it it's me simply speaking, simply realizing the act of oral transmission, as they will say in communication. So yeah, good good one. Welcome. Um, but yeah, I was so far. I think I can give you a quick rundown, simply talking about the nature of or one of the many things that do happen in nowadays world. In this case, concerning or pertaining to the realm of what are the questions that one might have about any kind of thing and whatnot. And yeah, it is it is quite interesting to always consider that. I mean, it does always feel weird to even mention it to some degree because there are so many sides and so many opinions, I guess, to consider that it ends up being quite a wonderful experience on one hand, but on the other quite, I wouldn't say simply revealing, as if wow, you're discovering something and nothing else. It is quite shocking, quite appalling, I guess that is the proper expression, to find those questions and those problems even. I I don't know. Sometimes on the other hand, kind of a completely different argument. It does feel weird because certainly there is a tendency towards problematizing. I hope it is a word on English. I I should search for that because yeah, I before I make up any word, let me search. Yeah, okay. Perfectly fine. I love you, English. Finally, I am not making up words, problematizing, as I said before. So, I was making the argument of it certainly feels sometimes we are problematizing nature too much, sorry, or too many times, I guess, in aspects that shouldn't be regarded as such, and it does even feel bad because certainly things are good. It isn't like anybody has any need towards making this world seem like something bad or making this this thing that is being alive something not capable of being enjoyed or whatnot. It simply is something that exists, and it simply is something that you deal with and something that you accept in life. I guess I don't truly know. It's it becomes quite tiresome even and quite boring when you find out that all of those things are all of those things. I didn't even mention anything in particular, but in general, things, stuff, the problems that we supposedly talk about every single day, those ideas that everybody has, those things that we have accepted as problems that we regard as incognitos and as situations that should be changed in the daily life. Let's say it like that. Those things, what I am referring to, certainly don't even possess that much of a real trouble for anybody and don't truly affect anybody to any degree. And not only to any degree in general, they do affect people, but to any noticeable degree, I would say. That is where it feels bad. Because sometimes it does feel like we are even over focusing on things that are of a lesser importance just because trying to tackle the bigger problems would require too much of an energy and the will that we don't possess. And I don't know, I guess that is kind of the main problem in this case. That somehow we live in a world in which it is, yeah, it feels bad, but I see it as the truth that we have so many problems in general that it is kind of impossible for anybody to truly decide which thing does truly feel like something good and which thing does truly feel like something enjoyable to any degree, to any point, and what is worth fighting for when you realize that there are so many troubles that are incredibly huge and that are almost almost if not completely, I guess, impossible to deal with by yourself. I- Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't searching for that conclusion, but it certainly is the reality that most people are even. I don't think it is a conscious demoralization that you experience, but it is more like an underlying one, an underlying idea, an underlying acceptance of those problems that truly pertain everybody, that truly affect all of those who are alive right now. Those things are impossible to solve by yourself, and trying to do so will certainly bring you no good, will certainly tear you out of your life more than anything else. And unless you truly possess the capacity to proficiently, I guess, move those who are around you towards those solutions that you're looking for, it will still be quite impossible for anybody to get to experience yeah, those realities in which said problems had been solved. And these very same problems are also incredibly huge yeah, hugely demanding to solve because they affect so many people in so many ways that it seems almost delusional for some to argue that these things are inherently bad. Certainly, even because most people can't even see them as something bad. You don't find out how many people, or in the case that you try to do so, you don't expect that many people to say, yeah, I talked about before bills, paying bills, one of the most normal ones, electricity bills, energy bills. In my case, you don't find out that many people in my city who say, oh yeah, I am not paying bills, therefore I am doing something bad. It seems completely justified to accept that you're not paying bills and to accept that you're not partaking in your role in society and that you're not willing to do so. And it seems incredibly logical even to see that something goes. And I don't know, and it feels that is what I mean with it feels weird because how can you even try to solve something like that? What are you going to do? Are you going to force people to pay out of nowhere? Because the best thing isn't that people are not doing this thing because they have so much money that they simply want to keep saving up. No, people can't pay electricity, something that should be incredibly cheap. We are losing so much money because we have already a problem with poverty at the very least here, and you will expect to solve that? You will expect that you're going to, by forcing people to pay electricity, solve the problem of inequality that exists in this place. It certainly doesn't even address the main problem, it doesn't even solve the main question. Nothing gets properly done if you are truly trying to in in regards to those things that are so hard to deal with when you just find out the first problem. It has layer upon layer of negative things and even worse things to deal with. And I don't know. It from that side it does feel quite bad and quite tiresome. It is like I guess certainly you realize how much of a problem itself it is. The act of trying to solve the problems that affect so many people. And yeah, I can even see why it makes so much sense out of nowhere when even the biggest motivators, I guess, talk about the idea of, if you are trying to solve any particular problem from this world, what you should try to do is to boil it down to its most essential components, let's say, in order to properly find out which thing you, from your one life, one single human form life, can deal with. Because I don't think out of nowhere you will solve the problem of, let's say, I just I just mentioned like two or three things. What are you going to truly try to solve? Are you going to try and solve the problem of people not paying their bills? Are you going to try and solve the problem of people not having that money even? Therefore, are you going to try and solve the problem of inequality, the problem of poverty? How much are you going to try and do that? Are you going to try and do it with one people? Are you going to try and do it with your whole country? Are you going to do it with the whole world? How are you trying to solve anything like that? Why would you try to do it? What is it that you expect to gain, even sometimes? And how do you think you are going to do it? But I don't know. That is always the underlying side and questioning that most people even are not willing to experience. And I don't know, I don't think it is that bad. In general, it simply happens that we ignore those things and it feels bad because it certainly doesn't need to be something so bad or damaging. It simply is part of the nature that, that there are things that sometimes you wish to deal with, but you don't even realize are so huge to deal with that what you ended up proposing was a rather impossible task, I feel like. So yeah, I don't know. It's it always is something. It always is something boring. It always is something annoying, and I I don't know, man. It feels weird to some degree. It always feels weird, and I guess life is sometimes something weird. As always, no? It is part of the very same nature of being alive that you realize how utterly weird it is in so many areas. I mean, I mentioned that I think it was last stream that certainly we live in such a reality that if you were to really consider them, it is so weird what we experience nowadays. And it is so surprising to see even or even more that we have accepted them. Like it makes sense this world in which we exist to be of such a nature. But I don't know. I guess that is the fun side of that, I guess. But yeah. Anyways, let me let me shut up for a second and drink some water. Thank you. Um, yeah, but basically that. Ooh, that's kind of weird. Sorry. Let me do it again without stretching this time. Good morning, Crespian. Sorry for that. I was just taking a minor break. I was drinking some water and also stretching. Sorry. Yes. Greetings to you too. I don't know even what time is it where you are, so I hope it is good morning or good night or something healthy, basically. I mean, yeah, I don't even know from where you are, so I hope it is a reasonable time. That is what I try to say. Um, yeah, I would lie if I said no. Yeah, because without imposing so much no, um, it feels kind of bad you to learn that somebody who decides to spend the time with you is not taking care of themselves because yeah, as you say that you are glad that I am taking care of myself, I am also glad to hear that those who decide to be here right now are capable of taking care of themselves. So from that side, it ends up being naturally worrisome that maybe I, yeah, if if this person who decides to be here today isn't properly taking care of themselves, sometimes it takes no more than 5 seconds of wow. Anybody, in this case, I don't mean it as something really bad. Anybody. Um, but to make the example understandable, Crespian, I hope you're properly resting. It isn't an unreasonable time for you to be up or something like that. You understand? It 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 takes no time, and it really is weird to see sometimes even that if you say something of that sort, you are out of nowhere imposing or whatever. Like, are you not worrying about those things for real? Like, I don't know. Anyways, that isn't the point, I guess. Or if it is, everybody has the responsibilities. I hope people is responsible. That is the main concern I have in that sense. But yeah. Um, anyways, moving on. Once again, welcome, Crespian. Uh, I have been thinking about this one thing. I have been spending my time, and I have been. Eh, wait, what did he mean? uh, I okay, yes. I was saying then. I have been trying to reason out this one thing, and I haven't realized. I already kind of knew about it, but I wasn't fully sure, and I have gone now fully into the acceptance, I guess, not the realization, because I think I knew it almost since I began streaming or streaming this way, that whenever I finish streaming, I have some kind of feeling inside of my brain, and after so much time, I can finally say it is the feeling of I get not simply mentally tired. It is something more like I guess a proper example will help to illustrate. Those who play chess, it it was studied from chess players, from those who properly play chess, that at professional levels there is an amount of brain activity that goes on inside of them that equals to the yes, the amount of brain activity ends up mirroring based on the amount of energy that they end up spending just because they are playing chess, end up this thing mirroring later on the expenditure of energy, the same degree of energy that somebody who almost ran a whole marathon spent, but out of that simply inside of their brain. That very same thing happens here. I don't, well, Certainly, I don't think to that degree, but it feels tiresome. That is what I am trying to say. That it feels my brain gets fuzzy after some hours of being here, and I didn't believe that at first. After all, it shouldn't happen. I guess it shouldn't be the natural thing that out of nowhere, just because you're talking about what interests you and those ideas that you have about the world and whatever, you will end up naturally tired. But I guess when I have to think about what I am saying and what's not, it is then that I naturally have to, yeah, to use my brain basically. So I end up naturally from that getting brain activity and not some minimal form. Um, yes, basically that. I guess I guess too much pondering ends up making me tired, and not tired, but rather it is something that you can even feel, and it is something that you can even be certain that happened. Let's say, because it goes beyond the initial feeling of this thing happened. It is more okay. This will be a better explanation in words. It is a bodily sensation what you have, and a bodily sensation of something that happened purely based on the brain activity that you did, let's say. And that is something that feels quite not only good, but quite, yeah, quite rewarding, because after all, it shows that even if I can't fully recollect what I talk about every single stream, I did something good enough in that sense that I can be happy because I am unavoidably tired in in some way, yeah, in some way or form, that it ends up making me be like that, or it ends up leading me towards those conclusions, I guess. And I don't know, I haven't really, that is kind of the sad part about this. I haven't really had the experience of knowing that many people who does something of this sort. I knew, I found out about one guy who does this kind of, yeah, this kind of streams quite regularly, but at the very same time, not that he does them really regularly. It is what he does the most, but I don't even know when he streams. I think I had the pleasure to watching him live like 2 times, and never again. He seems to be quite erratic with that. And the other guy who I know does stuff of this sort does those streams like one or two per month at the very best. I don't know. The problem is I certainly don't get to, because I don't know that many people who does anything like this. I don't get to talk with them about that, and I don't know. I guess with time I will find out about them. But yeah, on the other hand, I will say I simply mean that as a consequence of being here for so long, I guess. Not as something that feels bad, but rather as an unavoidable feeling. But yeah, I always eat something before a stream. I haven't thought about eating, I guess, during the break that I take, but I don't mean it as in, wow, I am so tired. It is more like, it is the proof, the physical proof of we did something good. And just with that, I can say that I am happy. Because sometimes you find out that, I guess, yeah, I, I have heard, I guess, after so much time, so many people say that they feel like when they stream, they haven't accomplished anything, and they have no way to feel that they certainly, yeah, that they are very much in despair because of that reason, because they don't seem to be capable of justifying what they are doing. And in this case, not only do we have the streams themselves as proofs of what we did, I have the very same evidence every single day I finish streaming of, yeah, I am mentally exhausted. And not mentally, my brain is exhausted. The activity that happened inside of my brain was such that I am in that tiny blob is tired and it is having a hard time functioning properly and it needs to take a break or something of the sort. That is what feels good because it would be. I wouldn't say it in that sense. It does feel kind of bad for those who do something more akin to that line, but it does feel like it is good brain exercise, I guess, being here. At least for me, I guess. After all, I am mostly talking about things that I deeply consider and deeply want to keep considering. That's also part of the reason as to why it ends up feeling that in that way. I guess I don't know. I don't know. But basically that I made it longer than what I expected. I simply wanted to say, haha, brain fuzzy feels good, nice. Mm, End of the line. I didn't expect to go like 5 minutes on. Wow, it is the intricacies of how it gets tired, the brain, that makes it rewarding. No, it simply happens, I guess, and you can accept that as something that certainly is interesting to have happening in my case. But yeah, anyways, um, completely different thing. The sun is still not up. I am kind of worried because we are not even in that deep in winter. Why is it taking so long for? I think today is going to rain. I think that is the reason. Anyways, completely. Anyways, uh, as long as you, as it does not negatively affect the rest of the day. Yeah. No, I mean, uh, I don't have to worry about that because I stream so early that when I finish streaming, the next thing I do is I go with my family and we enjoy some. Yeah, we enjoy some mate. I don't think there is a proper translation for that. I think, okay, the best way to see it, if you don't even know about what the mate is and what all of that means, is like tea time, but with just one cup, and that cup is being shared between all of those who decided to drink. Basically, that. And in that ambient, I don't have to think anything because certainly I am very silent. I am very, 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 very silent. I mean, I might as well say 5 words per hour or so when I am with my family, so I can fully disconnect my brain. there, I, I have said that already. When other people talk about it, I, I don't perform that many brain activity, that much brain activity in my daily life, so it doesn't impact me negatively. It isn't like, oh wow, I am somebody who thinks all the day, every single day. Besides the unavoidable part, I certainly don't find myself immersed in thoughts and whatever. I only here I have the pleasure of consistently doing it, and I also I guess that is the best part, having the justification for that, because certainly, to some degree, that is kind of the biggest problem, that you don't even find proper reasons to think about what you need to be thinking. I guess. Holy shit, that message got completely destroyed. Um, we are truly lucky to be able to see this part of you. Okay, yeah. Um, that got so destroyed. Sorry for that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would. Okay, sorry, because I will take that as a compliment. Therefore, I shouldn't be disregarding that. Yes, I will say then, if you can see it as something good, that not only it is good to see it on somebody else, it is also even a more wonderful thing to be capable of experiencing it yourself. Because with enough time, I have discovered, at least from my side, it is quite surprising how many ideas and how many things you have to think about. Not just because you are spending time thinking about them, as I have said before, not just because you wish to spend hours upon hours thinking about, I don't know, why is rice white on its base form, but rather about those things that affect you and those things that are part of your daily life, you know? And certainly, I can say I feel very grateful in that sense because I get to share even that experience of, yeah, that whole experience and process of being immersed in considerations and similar, and to hear what you yourself have to say about the matters, yeah, the different matters, is even better because you certainly have a lot of opinions yourself that sometimes you didn't even give your own self time to consider. And that is kind of the sad part about this because what I do is simply what everybody should be capable of enjoying, let's say. It isn't like, wow, it is so hard to think or whatever else. I mean, even if you hear people say stuff like that, it isn't true. It isn't true that it is hard to spend the time trying to think and consider whatever you are considering. don't worry. I don't. I mean, I have those redeems mostly in order to have people, if they are willing to use them, use them. I don't really think it is like, oh my god, I finished a stream and nobody did a first comment redeem. I am so angry. I am going to nuke my whole uh, socials. No, I really don't. Not that I don't care. I am happy if somebody uses them, but I'm happy even if nobody uses them because they are not the main focus here. I guess that will be certainly something good. I need to integrate them a little bit more into the stream, uh, but most of them are simply there. If somebody wants to see what happens when I push this button, um, nothing else really. Like, wow, haha, funny redeem button. Certainly, most of them are not even part of are not even part of what I am doing. Like, they don't really change what I am doing. So basically, that. Don't worry. I don't think. Yeah, I know that people are. This this is your soapbox. What? I okay. I am sorry, but I am ESL as in English second language. I don't know what is a soapbox, but yes. Eh, eh, barriers of the language. I am so sorry. what? What is a soapbox? What? Okay, okay. Yes, I guess. Um, yes. Certainly, I guess. To some degree, it works like that. Yes. Also, good. Welcome, Fitterland. I think it is good night for you. Yes. Thank you. I thank you for liking everything that you can see so far. At some point, it is completely unrelated. At some point, it was going to be reworked. I don't know what's happening with that project, but anyways, yes, thank you, welcome. But yeah. On the other hand, as we were saying, it does feel quite nice. Certainly, it is quite an entertaining thing, and quite a. I mean, without trying to overuse, I will certainly. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be wrong to say it is quite a beautiful experience to be capable of, in this case, thinking about what you need to think about. Because certainly, to some degree, I always felt that the responsibility of trying to consider things in general and having even more the possibility, as I was saying before, of sharing that even more with others is quite by itself nice. As I said before, beautiful. And the problem is, sometimes, in my case at the very least, I am not capable of seeing that every single time that I try to embark in any kind of journey, because certainly it is by itself something quite hard to take as good, you know? You sometimes the amount of good things that you can notice on what you have is end up being hard to properly notice just because you are not even trying to overestimate what you have, I would say. And on one hand, I guess, in to some degree, being honest, if I were to consider it from the best possible optic of, okay, if I were to lose this, if I were to tomorrow not have any more the possibility of being here, besides being happy with whatever happened before, would that make me happy or not? I certainly wouldn't be to any degree content with the idea of not being capable of streaming anymore, let's say. Certainly, it is kind of a negative side to not have the possibility, in this case, of talking and considering and, as, as we say, pondering and whatnot, you know? And it is quite a complex thing to sometimes find what feels that way, but it does feel quite entertaining. And okay, let me finish my sentence. I okay. It does feel quite good, and it does feel quite quite nice, I guess, quite more than justified to be here in that sense. But yeah, I guess it it has been so far a good journey, and it shall keep being that way. Yeah. Now, uh, so I guess the description itself was kind of helpful, but if not, now you will get to experience your first potato kiss. Okay, so, Crispian, I am I am very thankful for having you. I hope you can realize how many people are also very thankful because you prove to be somebody very supportive of a lot of, being honest, streamers, people, those who are in this endeavor of trying to be any kind of entertainer, let's say. And it is quite a wonderful thing to have the pleasure of, in this case, having you. That is why I can say thank you, Crespian, and I hope you can keep, if you enjoy it, being that place, because certainly that is quite a pleasurable thing to have. Not just because of what it represents, but also because you are quite, uh, without making it so impersonal, what you can talk about and what you bring to the table is quite a good thing. So that's why thank you. And here you go. Basically, that's the reading. Um, I so yeah. Uh, anyways, completely. Anyways, let me drink some water. So, okay. Um, also, I have almost run out of water. This is incredibly surprising. Um, I guess I have been thirsty. Anyways, um, I don't know. I don't think I can say that much more about what I was saying before. On one hand, on the other, I sometimes you consider. I mean, I have been considering at the very least that, and it does feel quite. I wouldn't simply say bad. It feels. I guess I can to some degree try to give it a proper explanation because there is this feeling that at the very least I have when I see people not enjoying what they do. And I am mostly talking about here, but certainly you can see it in in general in life. And it is quite bad when you see people and you see how much they are incapable of even enjoying any kind of thing that they do, because that is kind of the main thing of being alive in general, that you should have the pleasure of enjoying what you do. And as I said before, it isn't simply that you feel bad. Bad can't explain the feeling because it is the amount of worriness that awakens deeply inside of anybody when you find out that somebody who's down to the most basic attributes is the very same as you, and somebody who has almost, if not literally, all the same capacities as you, end up being incapable of enjoying any kind of thing. Because certainly, if it is a world in which you can do whatever you wish to, and sometimes, certainly, you are quite hedonistic with your desires, but most people are not even capable of recognizing what they truly wish to do. And it is hard to say it because you can't even express what you feel in that sense and expect others to understand that it is. I feel, in my case, heartbreaking when you out of nowhere realize that somebody is pushing so much themselves to do something that doesn't feel good. And obviously, not in every single case it is something bad, even. And also, thank you, Crespian, for the lurk. But not every single time it is something bad. Not every single time it is something that you should see as a negative. It is more along the lines of sometimes you find out people who are truly incapable of identifying even what can feel good, and I think about it as something quite troublesome, or not just troublesome, quite problematic. Besides what is simply problematic, because as always, people have a lot of potential and people have a lot of capacities to deal with things, and sometimes not even trying to realize what are your strengths is making you so powerless and so incredibly incapable itself of harnessing what is your true potential. Let's say that it is quite annoying to realize that people are avoiding what can feel good, not because they are doing what feels bad in order to gain the benefits of. I don't know. I don't think anybody can say I enjoy working in a 9 to 5 as it happens with most people who work them. But you can more than enough justify working a 9 to 5 because you need to eat. It makes complete sense that you need to eat. Nobody needs to explain to you why you are working. Or why is it that they are working if they have basic needs. But I mean something like being here. I hate when I have to hear people say, I don't truly like what I am playing. I don't truly like what I am doing. I don't find it interesting what I am watching. I don't find it motivating enough what I am creating, what I am working on. When there are so many possibilities to find something good, and there are so many chances to make it all work, that it is there that I mean it is annoying, and it is with that side that I mean it is worrisome, because people have a lot of capacities, and from that very same side, I had also been very much considering this thing lately, where I have, after some consideration, because I at first it happened with my initial realization of it was even my case. A lot of people have a lot of potential in some areas, but those areas in which you have some potential, you don't even want to acknowledge because somehow you feel bad for taking advantage of what you are good in, and that is reasonable. That is okay to feel. Nobody says anything bad. Nobody is capable of telling you that it is completely unhealthy to see what end up being your strengths as bad. Nobody tells you that it is completely demoralizing, that what you are good in, you decide to perceive as negative. And we even have a narrative in which, oh yeah, wow, you're good at this one thing, you maybe shouldn't be trying this one thing because you're going to have an easy time. What? Why do we have such ideas sometimes, and why is it natural for such things to happen? Like, I, it is always quite a worrisome thing and quite a troublesome one when you find out that it is so normal even to avoid those areas in which you have expertise and you have so much potential. And even because the biggest problem isn't simply that it happens like that, it is that you can even say you feel good doing something like that, but it is like a sense of shame that exist on everybody, in which what you can properly do you don't wish to do because you believe that it is going to be unfair for the rest or something of the sort, and there isn't even a proper justification for that. No matter how much time you spend arguing with yourself, there will never be a real justification. That is why most people who try to consider anything of that sort end up realizing that it is indeed a lie what they are talking about, what they are dealing with, that sense of it isn't even a sense of or a feeling of falsehood of that um, that thing that some famous people feel, let's say, when you feel like you are not in a place in which you deserve to be, but because you are overestimated by people. It is more along the lines of out of nowhere, it is okay to believe that you, with all of your capacities, somebody who can really do something well enough, will have a bad time or will be damaging to the whole system out of nowhere because reasons. Because you can't even find a proper justification to avoid doing what you know you have so many good qualities in. And I don't know, man. It does feel bad because so many people are dealing with that problem, and at least in my case, I guess I couldn't notice why it was such a problem until I finally dealt with it by myself. But you see it happening so many times and in so many places, in so many lives, that it seems weird to have it happening and to have it as something so normal. It shouldn't need to be like that. It has no reason to be like that. And once you realize that you are good at something, it seems even like a necessity to avoid doing that one thing that you are good at because you are going to be exploiting what you are good in and you're going to be abusing stuff. And the best thing is, we're not even talking about anything damaging, anything bad. We're simply mentioning the act of doing any kind of thing. And already people are creating excuses to avoid doing what they know they can do well enough. And what they know they can be good in, and I don't know, sometimes it seems, I mentioned that before in one very short tweet in that time. I remember it was something along the lines of there doesn't need to be so much of a necessity or self punishment. It feels very much like that when out of nowhere you're imposing so much. The I can't do what I am good in, and I can't be focused on what I say I enjoy, and I shouldn't spend my time doing what I find interesting, what I know is worthy, worth it of my efforts, let's say, because once again, reasons that make no sense whatsoever. But I don't know, I guess I hope it to be something along the lines of it's just a phase, it's just a moment. Later on, people can fully realize what they are doing, but I don't know if that were to be the reality. You wouldn't hear so many people talking about how they're they missed their opportunities and how they were capable of handling their desires and what little time they had alive to do what they wanted to do and to accomplish something in any field. And it wouldn't be always that story of um, missed potential that so many people have, it wouldn't work like that if everybody was capable of realizing what they are good in and accepting that as such and working on those things. I don't know, sometimes it becomes quite hard when you realize that so many people are struggling with such a thing. And I think from this side, at the very least, I can say, because that is always the feeling that I have, even when I mention something like that, that it can even feel fake because out of nowhere, you're saying that you enjoy things so much and you're saying that you're having a good time so much. You see the people that are around you and you see how incredibly sad they are. And you see how dissatisfied they are with every single thing that they try. And you realize how incapable of properly enjoying anything they are. And if you are capable of finding something that feels good, sometimes it is better to not even talk about it because the other people are not even there in that sense. There are so many people who avoid what can feel good, or not that they avoid, because avoiding means that you are conscious of what feels good. So many people are not even there in that sense, are not even capable of realizing what is it that they are good in. And once again, that whole narrative of, yeah, you shouldn't be using your energy on anything that is utterly easy for you. What? You should spend every single bit of it. You should go completely out of reserves. You should completely offload that. That is also part of what I was saying before. I finish being here and I am completely exhausted, but it feels worth it, man. It feels incredibly awesome. It feels more than justified. I might be incapable of having proper ideas for the next 2 hours after I finish streaming. I don't care. I don't give a single bit of care because I am happy with whatever happens here. And that isn't my singular case, that isn't something that can only happen to me. That is the story of everybody who can find something worth it of their time. Something that they can justify and something that they can say, yeah, this is good, and this is more than enjoyable for me. And once again, so many people devoid of that, devoid even of that interest to find anything. It's so weird sometimes. I mean, it is kind of always the narrative and such when you try to do with other people that you hear how much they struggle and how much they have problems finding anything of that sort. And it is always part of the problem, but at the very same time not something that many people are truly willing to talk about and that seems okay to ignore. But at the very same time, so many people are kept down because of that, and so many people are incapable of finding anything worth it. Not because they don't have anything worth it, but rather because I don't know. It always traces back to this whole idea of we lack a little bit of encouragement. We lack a minimal amount of interest. I hate, I completely despise the idea of, oh yeah, we lack positivity. What? What are you going to be positive? You're simply saying you should be trying something, man. Why is it positive out of nowhere to say, to tell somebody that there is potential in every single thing that they do? Where is the positivity in telling you that your efforts pay off? What? It, I am simply stating the reality of things. You work on something, you get results. Maybe not what you expected, but you get results of any kind. And out of nowhere, that is taken as, oh wow, this person is so positive. What? And that is what I hate so much. That we lack that minimal spark of, wow, positivity. No, it is reality. It is realism. The capacity of telling others that, yeah, if you try something out and you don't like it, there is still time. You will have the possibility of finding out something that feels good if you keep trying, you know? You will find out something that is worth it of your time if you keep going for that idea, you know? Why do you need to make it sound as if it was out of nowhere the most positive thing to say? What? It is the reality of being alive, nothing else. It's nothing different, it's nothing surprising, it's simply part of having your efforts pay off in any kind of way. And it is taken as if you were saying the most revelatory thing. What? No. But I don't know. It is so it is so weird sometimes. And it is so utterly weird in that sense. Also, hello to you, Shake. ah, welcome. I don't know. Sometimes I guess in that sense, always it is true. I feel that we are our biggest problems in that sense. Even if it doesn't need to feel that way, you know? Even if it doesn't need to feel that in that direction, it does feel like so many times we are treating what we are with so little regards, I guess, that you don't recognize what is your capacity, what is it that you can be good at, what is it that you can accomplish, what is it that you can be capable of properly solving, what is it that you can obtain. And I don't know, man. Once again, because it is the worst part of this is, and you say this can be solved, and out of nowhere it sounds like you are saying the most incredible thing. What? Why is it so normal to be hopeless? Why? I don't know. Anyways, I guess that's the pleasure of being alive. That you can enjoy stuff. That you can have a, you can find a response for that, and you can justify what you're doing. And after enough consideration, find something that feels good, something that can justify, I guess, the final degree, the final analysis, even justify your existence. That is that is quite amazing. I mean, and I don't know. Sometimes ignoring the other side of, yeah, the norm is that somehow it is okay to not have faith in anything. It is okay to not desire anything. No, if you work on what you wish to, and if you are capable of using your time on what you say you have an interest on, you discover that you have quite a huge amount of potential, and you can accomplish quite an incredible degree of things, as long as you put your mind and your efforts into it consciously, and as long as you are capable of, in any degree, trying what you say you wish to try so much and you wish to do so much. And once again, you see things paying off, and you see that indeed what you do is rewarded, and what you gain is what you have been wishing for so much. And that is fine, and that is, once again, this isn't the positivity, that is the reality of things. You keep working hard enough, it will pay off unavoidably. No matter what is it, no matter how much time it takes, it will pay off. But it needs to simply happen. You simply need to keep going and to be capable of saying, yeah, maybe today it won't be the best day in any kind of degree. But I will anyways put my efforts into this one thing, because I can realize, I can feel, I can sense like it is going to be worth it. And with that, I am happy. Nothing else, Nothing else. But I don't know, man, sometimes. Once again, the biggest problem is, I guess in this case, that it sounds like you're being overly positive when you say something like that. What? Why, why is the common narrative so pessimistic, so devoid of any capacity of finding things good, finding things worth it of your own existence, finding your own existence something that can be useful to any kind of cause? I, I don't know. Certainly, I don't even seem to be close to knowing. And I mean, it does kind of make sense. Supposedly, you have every single reason to justify not doing what you wish to and what you should be trying to. After all, nobody really wishes to. I mean, who wishes to consider so much what is bad in this world? Who wishes to be there trying so much for others when you realize that so many people are already devoid of any will of any kind, who is on their sane mind trying any kind of thing, properly trying to any degree to work on what they can attain, what they can become, who is there supposedly trying to become something better, when there are already so many problems in this world. There are already so many hard things. Who in their sane mind can say that it makes sense? Because it is easy to hate the system itself, but is it really possible to say that it makes no sense that so many people are incapable of seeing anything worth it? It seems reasonable, it seems understandable, it seems properly comprehensive. You are not even close to understanding anything if you truly are saying something like that. And it isn't even close to being a joke based on the amount of people who truly is on that side. You realize how many problems and how many troubles are there and how many things people has a huge amount of lacks in once you willingly go out there and you experience the world. I mean, I mentioned them before already. We have, before you are born, or the moment in which you are born, without any capacity of you to decide about it or not, you are given like five different type of debts that you will have to be paying for the rest of your life. You have necessities that you need to fulfill every single day. You have things that you need to do in order to keep yourself healthy. You have a thousand things that you need to be taken care of in order to accomplish any other thing. And it is understandable that all of them are more than overwhelming because the best thing is not only we have them, we have that little side, we have even in this world, we have created what can become a false necessity based on the capacity of altering your needs. You can become addicted to things. You can lose yourself on your phone, on not even on substances, on harder drugs, as they will classify them, not even on those things. You can lose yourself on watching too much TV, watching too many shows, too many videos, too many whatever. You can lose yourself on that. And it is understandable. Once again, it makes no sense if you say, what? Why can anybody have so many troubles? The reasons are out there. And if you can still work against what troubles you and keep going towards any kind of direction, then it becomes worth it. Then it becomes justified, and then you can say that you are accomplishing truly something good. But I don't know, sometimes it does feel like certainly we possess a degree of emphasis that isn't enough in that sense. That you shouldn't need to hear somebody else tell you that you can accomplish anything. You should be capable of finding it true inside of your efforts and inside of what you do. And you should be capable of realizing that things do turn out okay, turn out as expected, basically. That if you're capable of properly projecting your mind into what you are doing, you will be capable of creating a mental image based on the results that you are going to unavoidably get. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing surprising. But it feels like such a surprising thing because, I don't know, somehow people is robbed out of that capacity. You start to imagine and it feels like, what? How can you be spending so much time putting your mind into what you wish to accomplish? Don't you realize that you need to be acting every single day? What? Let me try to see at the very least if what I'm going to do or not is going to be good or not. Do you truly believe I am going to risk every single thing on something that I have no way of knowing if it is going to be worth it or not? I gain nothing by sacrificing myself so much. Should I be so blindly following everything? You think that is alright? In which sane mind it is reasonable to have those expectations? But I don't know, man. I didn't expect to go into that one. So yeah, I guess I guess that I will take a break. I need to take a break, basically. will see if I can change topics or not when I come back. I will take my tiny mandatory idle break. Thank you. But basically, that I guess I don't know that this thing that is called being alive and its intricacies, something quite wonderful. I guess. I don't know. Sometimes life is quite weird in that sense. So yeah. Anyways, I will be taking my break. Thank you. I'll be back in like 1 or 2 minutes. Um, Thank you for your patience, I guess. Anyways, I don't even know how long I was gone, but as always, before starting or before returning properly, give me a second, because I always wish to do something here. I think I can be grateful for that opportunity at the very least. I mean, that is quite a wonderful thing. I wouldn't have thought I will have such an opportunity before, but yeah, let me. What's this guy? I was talking about things about one of the many things I talk about was efforts and such. Somebody who is putting an incredibly huge amount of efforts into something is this guy, Vasily Boy. He is somebody who is very much incredibly interested in microbiology. I think it is the proper way to say it. So yeah, interesting guy. Please, once again, uh, I stand here requesting your biggest support. Thank you. But anyways, completely. Anyways, let me let me continue where I left. Because yeah, I I said I might have changed topics. I don't want to. I don't even wish to try and change topics. I am sorry, but I must go on that very same tangent. Because there is still some degree of stuff that has to deal very much with what I was talking about before. And there is always that problem. I think of. I kind of mentioned in a similar fashion something like this. And that is when you try to think about stuff in this way, you end up even finding out people who say that what you're doing is being overly positive or being the one I hate the most. I won't lie. The one I hate the most is when I hear somebody say, "Yeah, you are being incredibly lucid." Like it wasn't that reasonable to have any kind of faith on anybody. Like it was good to not wish things to go well, to not believe in the capacities of anybody. Like was fine to not even try to give people any degree of hope in anything. That is what's so funny to hear that thing, to hear that. Wow, yes, you are so sane or something like that, when simply it is once again it is a fact, my brother. Do you really gain anything by being so negative? Do you really gain anything by being so pessimistic about the existence of yours or the existence of others? Are you truly giving anybody any kind of advantage when you see the world from such a perspective? What are you accomplishing by acting in such a manner? What are you trying to become if you're doing stuff in that way? Do you really expect things to go well if you have such a negative view on every single thing? You hear, I personally, I don't know what everybody hears. I hear so many times people say, yeah, it is so hard, and more than justified it is to be hard, more than reasonable it is to see this one thing that is being alive as incredibly complex. But it doesn't mean that it isn't worth it, that it isn't going to be something that you can enjoy or you can expect to have a good time in. It isn't something that people shouldn't be trying to see as meaningful. It always is irritating to see those who are around you talk about stuff in that way without realizing how easy it can be to stop paying attention to the most negative and toxic side of your own self, you know? And the best thing is, no, this doesn't affect me. Some will say, it affects every single person alive, myself completely included. It doesn't even avoid myself. The amount of negativity that you let yourself be affected with, the amount of times that you give up just because you had one bad thought, and it is reasonable to live in such a life. It seems reasonable to be so hopeless about everything. I don't get why. Is it so natural for so many people to surrender on the hand of? Did you even try to believe in what you are doing? Why do people embark on so many tasks that are impossible to accomplish if you have no faith on what you are going to try and do? How can how can you wish to say tomorrow that you did something worth it if today you're not even trying to believe on what you're doing? I hear and I see them that, yeah, wow, I am putting my efforts into this one thing that nobody else is trying. Easy. That part is easy. But everything else is not even close to being easy. It's not even close to being reasonable. And I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Life is, I guess, and we enjoy life for what it is, not for what it isn't. I guess if you can at the very least find something good, then you have already won the battle, I guess. I would say it like that. But sometimes being so hopeless is literally the worst thing possible that anybody can do for themselves, man. Like, you really ain't nothing by being like that. And it isn't something that you can't change. No, what? What? Your mind, you can't change your mind. You're telling me that? I guess so. I won't. There is a point in which it stops being worth it trying to fight those ideas. So, yeah, if you wish to say that it isn't worth it, so be it, my brother. So be it. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I don't have that much more in me to it. I simply wish to see if I could, in a completely different direction. I simply wanted to see if I could be here. I I didn't even believe I was going to have energy to stream. As I said before, I think I kind of started to stream with that. I have gone back to university, so I didn't expect to have that much energy in me to do anything. That's why I'm quite surprised to see that indeed I am not that tired. Or yeah, I am not that tired really. So I can do things. I can enjoy being here. And I don't wish to lie. I feel bad because I say something and later on I can't fulfill my words. But if it can happen, if I can make it happen, tomorrow I'll be back. I I I try to mean it when I say that tomorrow I'll be back. Not that I am promising devoid stuff. No, 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 no. I really try to mean what I am saying. Sorry if it doesn't sound like that. But yeah, I don't know. Life, I guess, existence. I guess, yeah, but it's basically that. I don't really have that many more ideas today. But yeah, quite a wonderful talk as always. Quite an interesting thing to enjoy the pleasures of existing, having the possibility of even more contemplating life. I, that is kind of something that I will say, not simply I recommend. I feel sorry for those who can't enjoy thinking and its benefits in general. So yeah, stuff. But anyways, on one hand that, on the other also too much thinking. So can we get me out of here? Can I as they would say, can I leave? Anyways, so because of that, as always, people, thanks for everything. But I guess it has come the time to give this a proper closure. Slash raid. There it is. So, as always, thanks for everything. It has been my biggest pleasure being here. Thanks for all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for lurking. Thanks for watching the world. I I seriously, please, nothing else matters. 1 second of your attention here, please. do what you need to do, be happy, take care of yourself, do whatever you need to. And yeah, until the next time, if it is a possibility, and if we don't get that chance, at the very least, we enjoyed being here. As always, thanks for all. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being alive. That's something that we don't appreciate enough. And I don't think in 5 seconds I can give you the explanation as to why you should be conscious about it. So yeah, thanks for everything. Please take care of yourself. And now, anyways, completely anyways, because we are ready, we are leaving. So more important things happening. Where are we going? Into clamshell. Who is doing turnip boy commits tax evasion? Distract yourself, don't think too much. Watch something funny. Quite a nice game, quite a silly game. Enjoy it. Goodbye, people. Thanks for every single thing. Right, exactly now. Also, OBS is fucking crashing. Ah, no, wait. Wait. OBS is crashing right now. That I'm trying to